How's everybody doing today? Hopefully everybody's doing good. Today I want to talk about what stops us or what stops you from really manifesting. We talk about blocks, all these things. We talk about the mind, but I think there's one big thing that we do. It's like it helps us, but it's hurting us. I want to talk about that. So what's the thing that helps us but hurts us to manifest our dreams? I think the thing that helps you but really hurts you is, you gotta ask yourself this question, right? Are you an information gatherer or are you an information implementer? I made a little short on that. I want you to think about that, because that's really one of the things that really stops us from breaking through in our passion and living our dreams in our lives. So what does it mean? I think it basically means majority of people, right? We spend time gathering information. We know a lot of stuff about the mind, the brain, the psychological, the law of attraction, spiritual. There's so many individuals here. They got some deep insights. I see the comments all the time. They know spiritual stuff. They deep there. Everybody knows this stuff, but can everybody implement it? I have a saying, and my saying is this. You're like, knowing isn't doing. Doing is knowing. Let me repeat that. Knowing isn't doing. Doing is knowing. See, that's the big thing, because I encounter so many people, they have all the knowledge, but they don't know how to do it. They don't know the how to. They can tell you every single thing. They can tell you how the universe works. They can tell you how their mind works. They can tell you their own blocks. They can do all that stuff, but many people don't even know how to do it. They can give you information on it. So what you want to start to do, you want to start to gather information to do information. The purpose of information is to gather, to assess, and to implement. Gather, assess, implement. But many of us fail the third stage of it. We can gather, and we can assess, but we never implement the information. And why is that? Why don't we implement what we learn? Well, it's because of your ego, your mind. Your mind is so cocky, and the mind thinks it knows it all. Because when you gather the information and you assess the information, the mind says, look at me, look what I know, look what I'm able to determine. And then the mind looks for comparison, but the mind fails the third step of doing it. So why doesn't the mind do it? Why does the mind love to gather, assess, but never do it? Because your own mind don't believe you can do it. Your mind will keep you in the information state. It'll have you know everything about this, that. It's like, I like to use analogies like sports, man. It's like sports, everything about the game, but you can't play the game. Playing the game is why you want to learn the game, right? All right. So think about that. So the reason why your mind don't believe you, and really, it really tries to keep you from implementing it by giving you, make you procrastinate a lot. It makes you doubt a lot. It makes you worry a lot, right? So that's the mind's defense mechanism. And so the main reason why your mind isn't confident in you, the information, and you can assess the information, but the reason your mind don't want you to do that is because your mind is seeing something that's never been done before. The way your mind works is your conscious mind, right? It only knows as far as the past, your past stuff. So if it can't go back in the memory banks and pick up that you've done this, you're going to meet resistance. It's going to tell you, this isn't in my file. So that's the main reason why your mind, that's why you don't do what you do. That's why you don't follow the stuff for your big goals. See how that works? So you got to understand that the mind, your own mind, is like a trick in you. Your mind is actually a trickery mind. Because if you think about it, you know, your mind always makes you look in the future, right? Or it takes you out of right this moment right now. It loves to throw you out into the future. And then what does the future have in common? Uncertain. When you think of the future, it's like, I don't know, predominantly the future holds like a lot of doubt or worry. And your mind does that because it's survival. But here's a big tip now. That was thousands of years ago. We've evolved more. So we're not in a survival state anymore. We're not running from animals or lions or tigers or any of that thing. It's not fighting for your life. But your mind still holds that concept. So when you get fear, doubt, and worry, you got to realize that, oh, my mind is stuck with an old program. It's like you leveled up, but your mind didn't. Like the environment we live in, it leveled up, but your mind didn't catch up to it. So your mind is still in a survival mode, right? So that's something you have to do that. You have to understand it. So you got to stop being an information gatherer, and you got to start to do the stuff, do the routine, do the technique. And not only do it, the thing is, once you decide to do something, you may not see results the first time. Second time, third time, may not see that. Why is that? Well, again, it's how your mind works, how your brain operates. You see, your brain, it has to pick up routine. It has to pick up repetition. It has to pick up familiarity. And it has to do it over and over. Just like you, human beings, when you first meet someone, what you got to do? You got to get to know them. You get to know them, you become comfortable, right? When you become comfortable with people, you can have more better experience. You can share more of your thoughts. You're not like antisocial, right? You're not like holding back. It's the same thing with your mind and creating stuff. Your mind have to see a routine. And here's the best thing about this. We'll show you about power of your mind. Even if the routine isn't true. Let me make that so you can understand what I'm saying. I'll give an example. Let's say you're someone that maybe you want to have more finances in your life, or you want to be more confident, but maybe you're not at this stage, right? Okay. Here's an interesting concept with that. You know, if you like practice affirmations, if you practice like writing down like what you are now, if you can see pictures in your head, so if you can see yourself like saying having more abundance, financial stuff, maybe you can see yourself more confident in a big crowd setting. Maybe you're talking in a big crowd and you're seeing like, oh man, I'm so confident, right? Even though you're not. But if you can do that over and over again, your mind believes you're doing it. Yeah. Your mind believes it's happening. And it's that frequency of repeating that pattern which is going to impress what's called your subconscious mind, which is the mind that controls all of you. You are 96% a subconscious mind. So, you know, even though you're walking, you're talking, you think you're conscious or logical, we all of us are really run on a program. It's like a software in a computer. Like you put a program in and it runs us. And the software was placed in us from when we were like kids, you know, like little kids and stuff. Like your parents put programs in your head and you watch stuff. Because did you know that the first 6 years of your life, from 1 year old to 6 years old, they call that the neonatal state. During that time, you lived hypnotized. Imagine this. If anyone has been hypnotized before or get in a hypnotic state, imagine being hypnotized for 6 years. Every single human being were in a hypnotic state for 6 years. That's how your mind was developed to make sense of the world. So that's how we were so easily programmed with the software. Your critical thinking mind didn't develop until after 6. Critical thinking mind is like your conscious ego mind, and then you got a critical divide mind that came into play. But for the first 6 years, you were in a theta state. Did you know that? Every single human. That's why it's so easy for people to get programmed. That's why people hold on to so much beliefs about themselves, their religion, their parents, because they witnessed it. You see, the thing about it, when you're in that state from 0 to 6, There's no filter to stop anything from coming in. So the mind just quickly accepts stuff. But that's why I remember before in past videos, I always say this to you guys, and I say, guys, you aren't your name, you aren't your age, you aren't your religion, you're none of that. That's a label that was put on you as an identity. Your parents gave you that. You're Mark, you're Tom, all of that. And because you were in a hypnotic state from 0 to 6, the mind easily accepted that. And where does that get stored? Subconscious mind. Subconscious, unconscious mind. And that's what runs your entire life, even right now. It's the program software in the background. That's the mind, and that's part of the reason why we become information gatherers rather than information implementers, because our subconscious mind doesn't like to change the scene. They will fight you from doing stuff. So it goes into your conscious mind and tells your conscious mind, hey, make him feel lackadaisical, make him think more negative. And the subconscious mind makes you feel lackadaisical because it controls your emotions. It also makes you procrastinate. It says put it off. It says, we can do that another time. And you look at that, I mean, all of us, you look at that as like a subtle thing, like, it's no big deal. I'll do it tomorrow, or do it this, da-da-da. Then tomorrow comes, I'll do it next week. And then by the time you look around, it's like 5 years pass. It's like, damn, 5 years pass and I haven't even touched my passion or my dream, man. See, that's how sneaky the mind is, right? What's the difference between the subconscious and the superconscious? Somebody asked me that. Hi from South Africa. So the subconscious is what runs the show for you. Your subconscious basically is a mind of habit, actions, symbols. It controls heart rate, breathing. It's actually infinite mind. It holds all your memories, all the emotions, that some of them that have been hidden because you've been through trauma. It hides it to protect you. Your subconscious makes you do stuff and sabotage. The superconscious, on the other hand, now is what we call the connective mind. It's a universal mind. Your superconscious mind basically is tied into every single information in the entire universe. The superconscious is where knowledge, understanding, you get aha moments. That's the superconscious. It's like a library of all information. That's what the superconscious mind is, right? Now, the thing about the subconscious mind too is it's a mind of least resistance. So what do I mean by least resistance? Think of it like this. You ever had that parent, or your parents, right? You ever hear them say, man, why are you stuck in your ways? Why don't you like to change? You ever hear like, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, right? You heard that before, right? That's kind of what your subconscious is. It doesn't change. It doesn't like to change. All right? It doesn't like to change. Hey, Mark, how many times? What, have you won the lottery this year? This year, beginning of this year, twice, like substantial amount. These numbers I see, they come out. So I've gotten quite a nice prize amount 2 times so far this year. So let's talk more about this mind thing. And by the way, once you can master your mind, then you can tap into like stuff like the lottery. Like winning the lottery becomes so easy. Man, doing all this stuff, you can do all of it. It's really simple, because once you gather information of how physics work and the mind works with physics, like quantum physics in your mind, and then you can implement it, like I implemented, then you can hack reality, like winning the lottery. That's the simple part of it. You can do more than that. You can start your own business. You can have, man, it's like things in your life will look miraculous. You're like, man, where all this stuff coming from? How am I getting all these opportunities? Where all that doing? Because we live in like And the best way I put it, we live in a blank canvas universe. You want to look at a paint thing. You know, when you're painting, when you start to paint, the canvas is empty, and then you decide what to paint, and then it comes into life. But that's the same way, the analogy with you and I, like, you're a participant in the universe. The universe cannot exist without you. Not only an observer, but you're a participant. Actually, observing something is creating something. And we learn that through how the particles move and the charges. You know, when you observe an electron will give off a charge, electron charge like little volts, and it gives off a charge. It's actually creating reality. So that's an example. But I want to go back to the mind thing, the subconscious. It's the mind of least resistance. So as I was saying, so we all have those. Probably your parents are like that, or you have family or friends that they just stubborn. They like, this is what I think. I'm not gonna change. This is how I'm used to seeing it. Da 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 da. And then even though times change, right, and things change, and you tell them like, hey, do this, they still don't want to do it. Maybe now you have like family, older family. They don't want to use a smartphone. They don't want to use a computer. They want to do things the old-fashioned way. You're like, uncle, grandpa, mom, this is how things work. No. I want to do it my way. Da da da. Your subconscious is kind of like that. So that's very important. That's important because check this out now. You see what happens is, even though what you call grow up and you evolve, like you become an adult and you live your life and all that stuff, your subconscious mind still have that 0 to 6 program inside of it. And it uses that 0 to 6 years old program to influence your life right now. So what I'm saying is there's many people, books. I don't know any books on this I could recommend on this. I'm just speaking what I've learned and observed from the universe. I mean, the only thing, maybe you could read The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy, or you could check my book out. I got 2 books out. Manifesting It with Quantum Physics, I talk about that, and the other one is about the lottery, but it's still a concept of that. So what I want to go back to this because this is important. So when you were a kid, 0 to 6, let's say you're an adult right now, and you're start living your life. You're starting your life. You want to whatever you want to do. Your mind, your subconscious has a 6-year-old kid's programming running your life. A 0 to 6-year-old kid programming is running your adult life. So I want you to go back. Many of you, if you can remember, some people can, or you have an idea of your family, can you remember like what it's like growing up as a kid? Like, what did your parents talk about? Were your parents like, did they talk positive about money? Did they talk positive about you? How about your surroundings? You remember your friends and stuff like that? Were they positive? Were they talking about like lack, right? Probably not. Most of us, our families were like, let's talk about lack and struggle, right? Horrible. Like someone says, life was horrible for me as a child. It was horrible for all of us as a child, I would say. But that's the issue though. That's what's running our lives still. And that's why many people find it difficult to achieve success, and people struggle like to finances and all that stuff. Because the truth is, a lot of people don't know. They don't know that they have an invisible thing, or that invisible unconscious mind that's controlling their conscious thoughts, conscious thinking, conscious decisions, conscious actions. They have no idea. So what happens now, we start to blame the outside world. We start to blame the system and the people. And then that takes us into another turmoil. It makes us victims now. So now we even give up our power to create. So you see how it's like a cascading effect, right? It's crazy, right? But the first step to freedom from all of this is you have to know. I mean, you just got to understand. Okay, if you find this truth out, then you can fix it. Problems aren't problems if you have the solution, right? They'll never become a problem, right? That's the issue we face. We have the problem, but we don't even know we are the solution to the problem. Yeah, someone says money doesn't grow on trees, you need to work hard. Yeah, all of that is like really puts you in a bind because let's talk about that one here. That's a good one right here. Is this Virgo? Let's talk about this because this is good because I think a lot of us suffer from this. Money doesn't grow on trees, you need to work hard. All right, let's tackle that one. I say about 90% of people have that etched in their mind. Let me show you what happens. They do it in school. They do it in your job. Now look, there's nothing wrong with working hard. But what is hard? My definition of working hard and your definition of working hard is two different things. My definition of working hard is implementing something that's smart, that takes me the least amount of energy for me. That's my definition of working hard. See, I call it the matrix. Their definition of working hard is for you to push and struggle and chase. You got to chase the money. You got to chase your dreams. You got to chase your passion. You're not going to get nothing. You got to fail 10 million times before you get success. No, you don't, man. You don't got to fail at all. Did you know you can watch somebody fail and learn from their failure and you never have to fail? They don't tell you that, right? You can watch somebody put their hands on the fire and get burned and you're like, all right, man, I see what he did. I'm not going to do that. Did you know that? Also, did you know this? That everything in the universe is actually effortless. Did you know you never have to work hard for anything? You don't have to struggle for none of that stuff. Did you know that? Did you know that the laws of physics and nature proves that? Think about what I just said to you. The laws of how all of this comes together says you are going against the grain if you are pushing and you're chasing. So why would they tell us and move us away from the law? Why would they put us to chase and push and force? Because many of them don't even know this themselves. Or maybe some of them do know this and they're basically tricking you. So, man, Mark, do you have any proof in all of this stuff, man? You talk all this stuff, man. You talk about, like, working hard and all this stuff. So can you prove it to me? Can you show me examples of what do you mean? I can certainly do that. And let's talk about the first one. So let's talk. Remember now, your subconscious controls everything. It's illogical. Okay? Now, the way this stuff works, the way the system works is this, the universe. Okay? You are a particle. Someone says don't chase a track, right? You're a particle. You're an electron, protons, you're made up of cells, molecules. You give off charge. You have positive and you have opposite charges, okay? Because you're a particle and you give off charge, you are a part of a multi-universe or multiverse in this field. So within this field, that means you are entangled with everything around you. So you want to understand that first. So let's repeat that because for you to get this, I have to say, you're a particle, you're connected to everything, you're a part of everything. So everything that you're looking at, you're giving off a charge. If the charge matches, the thing comes to you. Does that make sense? Okay, so so we got that. So now because you are entangled with everything, that means everything is already right in this space around me right now. I can't see it yet because it's still in a quantum form. It's in a probability form. Once I do a few things, I can bring that from a invisible and it becomes a tangible thing. Example, money, opportunity, even people. Did I work hard? Did I push? Did I strive? No. I just learned to use the laws of physics in my mind. Now, let's go back to how they teach you the wrong way. So when they say work hard, your subconscious is literal. It's going to make you work hard. When it says chase, remember, let's go back to the law of the universe. Universe says I'm entangled with everything, so chase is impossible. So if I'm chasing, your subconscious gets confused. It can get confused, but just to make sense, to make sure how this stuff works. Your subconscious looks around and is like, but man, we don't chase anything, man. Everything is already us. Chase, chase, chase. So because it's illogical, what happens now, what you chase is going to run away from you. Because your subconscious can't go against the law. It's part of the law. So that's why when you chase, it runs. And look, you notice, if you watch people, when you're running, when someone's chasing, they're running, it's running away from you, man. You follow that? See how that works? So when people are chasing, they think they're going to get it. The thing is running away from you. Well, look at human beings and how they interact. Have you ever met someone where they're like sweating you or they're chasing you, you get turned off? You're like, man, they're too clean, man, chill. The minute that person lets go, you're like, yo, what happened? I'm not getting the attention. You start chasing them? Do you think that's a coincidence? Because you're a part of the law. You cannot break the law of quantum, how things interact. You got to work with the law. So that's why when they tell you to work hard and chase, most people don't do it. They can't achieve it. Or they will achieve it, but they exhaust so much energy. Now, think about now, what if I say, think about that now, okay? Work hard, chase money. So now I know the law of the universe. So what if I just say, you know what? I don't have to work hard. Things come to me easily and effortlessly because I put myself in the position to be at the right place in the right time. If I implement that and I think about it and I visualize it, what do you think happens in my life? Voila. Someone says basically matching the frequency of what we desire. That's what I do because remember, I'm a particle and I'm give off a charge. If I give off a charge that says all the stuff I want is going to come to me easy because I'm a part of it, the universe knows that to be a fact because it's a law, because I'm entangled with it. So now I'm giving off my charge and the universe charge match. So the universe says, here, Mark. And it comes to me so easy and effortlessly. But now, if I give off a charge that says I got to work hard and force and push, the universe doesn't match with me anymore. So I'm going to get incongruent results. I'm going to get struggle. I'm going to get strife. I'm going to get push. I'm going to get all type of crazy stuff. And by the time I get what I want, I'm so exhausted, I can't even enjoy it and it's not even worth it anymore. That's something you need to dissolve. It's a limiting belief. If you're out there and you're listening to people telling you you have to work hard, you have to chase, you got to fail 6-7 times and get back up and and all this stuff, because that's exactly what you're going to do. You're going to fail 6-7 times. You're going to work hard. You're going to chase. It's going to run away from you because your unconscious mind is listening and it controls your whole conscious behavior and everything you do. Now, if I'm a person and I say things come to me easily and effortlessly. Someone says I don't chase, I attract. Okay? I'm always successful. I learn. Everything's a lesson, a teaching moment. That's going to become my reality. That's what my subconscious is going to create. 90% of people live in a world that they have to struggle and chase, and that's what they experience. So you can clearly see that every person creates their individual world within the same space continuum. The only thing you have to learn to implement this stuff is your imagination. If you're someone who knows how to visualize, who know how to script things, who know how to meditate, who know how to keep their mind focused on positive stuff, you will change the physical reality. That's the hard part about it. So if you consider that hard, I consider that like sleeping. It's easy. You can sit down and do it. Now, okay, Mark, sounds good, but you mean to tell me I'm going to sit down, visualize script, and it's going to come right to me? Not necessarily. You do have to take action, but it's a different type of action. This action is an inspired action. This action is an action that works with your intuition. See, that's the difference. So people say, well, man, yeah, everything you say, man, it sounds good, man. It sounds positive. But, bro, I have never seen anyone do anything without taking action. And you're right. But what type of action are you taking? See, action, there's two actions. There's inspired action and there's regular action. Most people take regular action. But you know what regular action comes from? It comes from an intellect mind. Regular action is an intellectual action. In simple terms, if you're using your analytical thinking mind, you're going to be you're 70%, you're not going to succeed. 30% you'll make it. Man, Mark, so what's wrong with me taking regular action? Because regular action involves a limited perception. Regular action can't see the whole field. Regular action can't help you to fulfill the whole thing. Regular action comes from your regular mind, which is only 10% of how it can help you. Inspired action now, that comes from the superconscious mind. That comes from an infinite source. See, when I take inspired action, I'm going to be led to the right place, the right time. I'm going to make the right call. I'm going to get the right connection. I'm going to do it all that without even breaking a sweat. And repeat that again. Regular action, I'm going to bust my ass. I'm going to sweat. I'm going to struggle. Inspired action, I'm going to chill. I'm going to wait because I don't know what to do now. So I wait until I get the inspired action. When I get the inspired action, I'll make my move. It'll be precise, coordinated, effective, results, no sweat. Game over. How many people know that? Do they even teach you that? Did you even learn that in school? No. Probably some of you, this may be the first information you're hearing from me. I mean, many of my followers here, you know this stuff. You've heard it before. And so, but maybe for you, it's new too. But look, that's how the game works. Guys, the game is simple. They make the game complicated so that you can't figure out the simplicity of it. That's how we were conditioned. I can prove it to you. What's one saying they put out to you? If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. What else? Nothing comes easy in the world. What else? You have to work hard. What else? You have to fail before you become successful. What is that? What is that? That's limiting belief of program. You get that stuck in your head and your subconscious, and it propagates that, and it makes your world that way. I'll improve it. You want me to get deeper? Let's go deeper in it. How about when you meet somebody? What if this person you meet exhibits all the qualities you're looking for? What if the person you met was nice, considerate? They're like your dream. What's the first thing comes in? The defense mechanism of your mind. No, man. She can't be all that. This ain't, something got to be wrong with her. Then what happens? Your mind go find something wrong. Your subconscious makes you sabotage that. And you just sabotage the best thing that could have happened in your life. Because that's what's programmed in you. You see that they program all of us to believe that life isn't abundant, it isn't successful. They program that into you. So now you go looking for like the bad stuff. When something good comes into your life, you sabotage it now. Because because your experience through your life, you had a lot of bad stuff in your relationship. So you automatically assume anyone who's going to come in my life is going to have bad. But guys, that's not how it works, man. You have to take every experience as an individual experience. You cannot compare the last with it, because the next trickery they use on you, or they give you, is the illusion of time. So because it happened in the past, it's not going to happen now, man. So someone asked a great question. How can you know the inspired action? All right. So inspired action, I can describe it to you. It's not something you know, it's something you feel. So inspired action would be something like, let's say I'm planning to do, okay, I'll use the lottery because I do the lottery when I manifest. So let me use the lottery to show you how inspired action works. So let's say I'm sitting in my house, in my home, because I play the lottery, right? So I'm connected to it and I'm entangled with it. So I'm there sitting down and I'm just chilling. Then all of a sudden, something pops in my head. Like the store, like 2 blocks down the street, I've been there before. Let's see, because this actually happened. A store pops into my head. And when a store pops into my head, something just says, hey, you need to go in there and buy this particular ticket. And I just see this scratch ticket. What do? I go to the store and I buy the ticket and I win a whole bunch of money. That's an example of inspired action. I can only relate that with the lottery. But maybe you can relate to something else. Maybe you're sitting at home and you're thinking of a problem and you're like, man, I don't know how to invest, or should I invest? And then something pops in your head, say, why don't you call such and such? And you follow that impulse. There's so much impulse, and you call them and they were the connection you needed. That's inspired action. You see, guys, my philosophy is this. When I don't know what to do, I don't do anything. Because I know how the stuff works. Let me repeat that. When you don't know what to do, you don't do anything. You have to chill. But me not knowing what to do clearly says I don't have the answer and I'm not ready. But my ego, if you don't be careful, your ego messes you up, because your ego says, bro, what are you doing? You can't sit down. You got to do something. And that's where we mess up. That's where we go do action. That's where we go take the wrong action. We mess stuff up. You know, it's like cooking something. You watch it simmer and the instruction says let it simmer for 20 minutes. But you're looking like, man, this stuff ain't moving. Let me go stir it up. And you stir it up and you mess up the ingredients. This world, the universe we live in, is a really simple concept. It's a concept of allowing what you want to come into your space. That's what it's all about, man. You don't have to go out there and like create your dreams, because they're already created for you. Because they're in your head, they're in your imagination already, they're in your mind. All you have to do is just create the space to allow them to come to you. And they come to you by you taking the inspired action at the right time. So to repeat that again, I've learned, and this takes discipline, trust me, I've been there, I've messed up plenty of times too. I was the one that was like, man, I can't sit, I gotta do something, go do something. But every time I do, I mess up. And I started to think to myself, I was like, man, something is off here. Like, school taught me that I can't sit down. I have to go do something, because in school they're like telling you, man, you got to figure it out. So I was like, where am I messing up here? It's like I'm doing the right thing, right? I'm schooling, the teachings of people, but it wasn't working. So I was like, man, somebody's playing a trick on me, because I'm doing everything, but I'm still not getting it. Then I figured it out. I was like, oh, this is how it works. So let me do it. I had to fight my ego. So I was like, okay, Mark, I don't know what to do. I said, all right, I'm not going to do anything. Here comes my mind. What are you doing, Mark? Come on. Go get her. You got to take action. You got to. Like, no, I'm not going to do it. I fought it. I was like, no, you ain't going to get me this time. You know what happened? I overcame that. And then while in the midst of me not knowing what to do, the light went off in my head. I got the inspired action. And I was like, oh, let me go do that. Voila. I repeated again. Voila. And again and again. I was like, oh man, this is brilliant. I need to tell people this stuff. I need to show people this stuff. And here I am. That's how it works, guys. You have to let room come in for inspired action. And this is about, you got to get your ego out of the picture. You can't get your ego out of the game can't come to you. How many of you done that? Think about it. How many of you didn't know what to do, but you ignored that stillness in you, which is your higher self telling you, chill. But you say, nah, I think I could figure it out. And when you go do it, you mess it up even more. So what I'm saying is most of our actions are spent messing up or fixing the action we messed up before. See how that works? So when Mark doesn't know what to do, I don't do anything. Because I don't know. I don't have the answer yet. So what do? I chill. Doesn't mean I just sit back and don't do it. I chill means that I'm in a space of openness. I am aware and open and receptive for information to come to me. See that? But it all comes over by me discovering how my ego works and putting it down. Because my ego is the big problem. The ego is what makes you take these illogical actions. Your ego is what gives you these false illusions of your life. No, this live, I don't think this live, well, it's recorded, but I usually save these lives, then I'll put them on my YouTube channel so you can rewatch them again. Someone said, it feels weird for me to do nothing though. I feel like a failure by not trying to do something. That's the program you've gotten. That's how it works. That's your mind. Remember your subconscious mind, right? It doesn't like change. So if it's not used to something, it's going to tell your ego to tell you what to do. That's why you say, and that's programmed through the matrix. Hey, let me show you. If you're not doing anything, you're lazy, you're uninspired, you're not motivated. You got to go out there and make something of your life, which is true. But look at big picture, guys. I'm not telling you to sit on a couch and be a couch potato and do. That's not what I'm showing you. I'm showing you have to use your imagination. You got to use your mind. You got to use the gifts you have that are in you. You got to use your feelings, your emotions, your mindset, your visions. All of this, you got to communicate, and it'll show you what to do. Everything that we do is more of a conscious, illogical state. So if you're sitting down and you know what to do and you feel like a failure, that's a limiting belief. You want me to get deep? I could even get deeper. What is failure? Actually, failure doesn't exist. It has no fundamental meaning in reality. You know what failure is? It's something human beings made up, just as success. So if you technically, you're already a success by being here. You're already here. You cannot fail. Who defines failure? Human beings. When you get it in your head, you assume it. Failing has no physical existence in reality. It's words. We make it up. That's the next secret you got to learn. You have to learn to disassociate yourself with the spells they place on you through the words. Spell in. It's cast spells. What is spells? It's a subconscious block. Your subconscious is like a magician. When you hear a word, it casts a spell on you. So what is a spell, Mark? It literally makes you do something you don't want to do. That's the definition of magic, and it's certainly 100% accurate because your subconscious will make you do stuff you don't want to do because it controls your actions and habits. I can prove that to you right now again. Someone may say, what's this guy talking about? How is my mind going to let me do something I don't want to do? How is that going to work, bro? Bro, I see everything around me. You tell me how I'm going to show you right now. Let me show you how it works. And all of you been in a situation. Have you ever been in a situation where you knew it wasn't right to do it or it wasn't going to work, but you tried it anyway, and then you failed, what you call failed? What is that? That's your subconscious. Or how about you in a situation you didn't want to do, but somehow your impulses and you went and do it. And after you did it, you got mad at yourself and said, man, I knew I shouldn't have did it. Why did I do it? There's the answer. Because you couldn't even control it. How could you? Because after the fact, you remember, you're like, damn, I keep doing this. Why I keep doing this? I know better. 90% of you have experienced that. That's the spell. Remember, your actions and habits are stronger than your intellect. We are creatures of actions and habits, guys. What creates those actions and habits? Feelings. See how that works? So that's why you really have to be careful of the words they put out for you guys. And you really have to understand that they are just concepts. Someone says the next most powerful word they put out there, someone says, who's this? This is force. I can't even see because it's so transparent. I can't even see the name here, but it says pride is the devil. J. Cole. That is 100%. That's another thing. Pride. Pride is what keeps you from doing this stuff because it's an ego thing. Again, I'll put it to you. Pride doesn't exist in reality. Something we made up. All there is, guys, is just is. There's nothing but is. Everything just is. We give meaning and symbols to this stuff. But if you can come back to the true form of existing with the just is, and you become a part of everything, you become neutral. That means nothing touches you. Everything is just flowing through you. You have nothing, you're not taking anything personal. You're experiencing the experience in the moment. You're in tune in the moment. You're non-judgmental in the moment. You're not taking anything personal in the moment. You're just focusing on you and how you can get better. That's when they said the magic happens. So you see how that works, right? Someone says, and even though you get the relationship with the person you want, you realize that it's not truly real. Well, let me say this to you. Reality exists on two scopes. You have the abundance and you have the negative side. If you're in this relationship, if you're looking for someone and they all have all the qualities you want, they will come into your life. But if you have the subconscious program of blocks, you will sabotage them from coming out of your life because you will do something that will make the relationship stale. This person will have all the good stuff in your life, but you will come up with something like, I'm scared of commitment. You'll start standing them up. You start making excuses, and then you'll say, "Oh, that relationship wasn't real," because you convince yourself. You create a self-fulfilling prophecy. So you can see how deep that gets. That's why I'm saying for you, when it comes to people, let people be themselves. Don't judge the people. Don't assume a personality. Don't assume a judgment. Don't assume a stereotype. Because when you meet somebody and you give them a stereotype, sooner or later, you're going to do something to fulfill their stereotype, not them. I'm telling you, man, this stuff is deep. This is how it works. The mind is very fundamentally easy to trick. If you want to use the word trick, just to make sense to you guys. But the only reason I have to use these words is because it has to make sense to you. I wish I could just talk telepathic and just send it without words. You would understand it. But I have to use these words they create just to make sense to you. So you have to understand that once you can discover that you are everything and connected with everything, and there's nothing that you don't need, and you just allow it, and then you just have go back to the information I talk about. Once you can know the information, you can assess the information, and you can implement the information, then this whole game becomes so easy for you to master. Say that again about stereotype. Stereotype is an image we create of someone in our head that doesn't really match the person. What happens is when we see the person, we start to form figments to match stereotypes. So we'll do things, we'll say things, we'll act in a way, and it will look like the person's doing it, but we're doing it ourselves. It's called a self-fulfilling prophecy. People do self-fulfilling prophecies. It could be negative or positive. A self-fulfilling prophecy could be someone saying, I'm going to win the lottery. They dream of it, they play every day, and eventually they win the lottery because they had a self-fulfilling prophecy. A self-fulfilling prophecy because someone keeps saying, I'm going to get sick. I'm not going to feel well. I just know this is going to happen. And what happens? They have a self-fulfilling prophecy. What creates self-fulfilling prophecy? This unconscious mind, the illogical mind. It cannot think like your conscious mind can. And that's why you develop a conscious mind. Your conscious mind is supposed to be the barrier to help your subconscious. Because your conscious mind is the mind that thinks, it can reason, it can analyze, and it can decide if this is true, then your subconscious will accept it. But the problem with the conscious mind now is the damn matrix developed your ego. That's the whole problem right there, man. When you came here, you didn't have an ego. All that was a label they created through the matrix, through your personality, through your religion, through your economic status, through the color of your skin, through the nationality. All of that was created by the Matrix. And thus born your ego, which corrupted your logical thinking mind. And that's why we struggle so much between the conscious and the ego. But it's really quite simple. Once you can get the ego out of the picture, now you can use your conscious mind for what it was designed to do, to be the assistant to your subconscious. Because one of them can think, one of them can make decisions, the other one is just illogical. It's so powerful. Your subconscious is so powerful, man. Man, anything you put in a subconscious mind with images and symbols over and over, it will bring it into your world as a physical experience. That's how powerful it is. And it brings it into your experience in ways you could never imagine. The subconscious is the unimaginable mind because it has infinite ways to get you a particular outcome you could never see with your regular thinking mind. Can you talk about telepathy? Yes, you know, in about 3 million years, if humans are still around, at the rate, because right now we are still evolving. I'm going to talk about telepathy. Your brain is still evolving right now. They're discovering new things about the brain. Recently, they discovered that in certain parts of the brain, they have find up to 11 dimensions in your brain, in the synapse, where the synapses and neurons made. So let's say about 3 million years from now, if we're still here, when humans are born, they'll have a bigger forehead. Their heads will be bigger. Their eyes will be wider. And that's because the brain now will be telepathic. You will be able to communicate in the mind because they're seeing the evolution of it. So how do you know that? Well, you can see the setup is already there because you can talk with your mouth, but you can also talk in your head. So why would you need two things? Because the setup is there already. It's already set up to evolve to that, but it's going to take millions of years. But you can still access it right now. But as far as you will get with telepathy, you won't have a direct conversation. You won't sit here. Well, you can technically if that person is telepathically strong. But what you can do, you can sit here and you can talk to somebody and they can be receptive to. They can call you on the phone and they didn't know you were thinking of them, or they could say, "I was thinking of you." You can do things like that. You can send telepathic healing and stuff like that. Interestingly, now you have higher intelligent beings. You know, people talk about these other dimensional beings. They call them UFOs or anything. The interesting about these beings is they are telepathic. They talk to us through telepathy. So it states that they are more highly evolved than us, maybe millions of years ahead. They could even be our creator. They're probably the ones that interjected in the genome about 6,000 years ago when chromosome number 2 was altered, which gave us the ability to be empathetic. You know, human beings on the evolutionary track, as we're evolving, it came a point where we jumped the evolutionary line so fast. It's literally impossible to jump that line. And physicists, epidemiologists, biologists, they're still trying to figure out how can we jump to that fast. So what they came up with, they had no other option, but they said our genome was intervened. Something or someone, whatever, interjected in our genome and chromosome number 2. It couldn't, the way chromosome, so what is chromosome number 2? Basically, all you need to know about chromosome number 2, you can go research it, but here's the simple thing. It's really involved in our frontal lobe. It makes us empathetic. It gives us the ability to love, to discern, to desire, to critically think. That's chromosome number 2. That was altered in some way. That couldn't have happened by a natural evolutionary process. They did the math. They did all. So it's still baffling geneticists, epidemiologists, biologists right now. You can go research that for yourself. So it begs to differ that we live in a multiverse, and the Earth, our part of the universe, is relatively young. So there could be potentially billions of years of evolution of other beings. Think about someone that's 1 million years ahead of you. What would that look like? You probably wouldn't recognize that. You can't think of that. You know, think about how far we came within the last 300 years in technology. About 300 years ago, we were riding horses and pushing buggies. See how far we came in 300 years. Think about 20 years how far we came. Before, many of you can remember, you probably had the push dial phone, or now you have a smartphone, right? That's only like 20 years, guys. Think about something that's millions of years ahead of you. You and I couldn't even recognize it. It could be standing right next to you right now. You probably, intelligence would have a life would have a different form. You don't even know what it is. So you have to always be open to your mind to understand the big picture here. You cannot be this person or these that's stuck in this matrix, and they do this. They want you to have tunnel vision. Can you change your own body by using the power of your mind? Of course, 100% you can. Placebo effect. Let me show you something. I did a short on this. Did you know that your thoughts, they communicate with deoxynucleic acid? That's DNA. That's what DNA is. They communicate with your DNA and they create proteins. Now, based on what thought you're thinking, these proteins become anti-inflamed or they become inflamed. They become inflammatory proteins. So what is an inflamed protein? A diseased protein. Makes you feel sick, gives you dis-ease. That's how the body gets sick. Inflammation. So if your thoughts can communicate with your DNA what? Controls the structure of your body. So you can definitely change or metamorphose your entire body by using the power of your mind. Study of, I'll give you one experiment and you can go look for this video. There was an individual, they isolated his DNA. They put the guy in a room and they put his DNA in a box and they send it 10 miles to another lab. And they asked him to do an emotion. As soon as he made an emotion, his DNA that's 10 miles away picked it up instantaneously. He's in a room and his DNA is 10 miles away. So they said, all right, let's put it in another country. As soon as he made a emotion, the DNA reacted instantaneously as if there was no time lag. That's what I was teaching you guys and tell you guys about. That's called entanglement. Everything is entangled. There is no time delay. That's why I told you time is an illusion. It happens instantaneously. It could be 2 feet away or it could be in the next galaxy. Instantaneous connection is connected. That's another evidence to show you that everything is connected. See what I'm showing and teaching people? That everything is connected. You are not separate from anything. It's the illusion of separation driven through your ego. So what happens is, if everything is connected, that means money, physical stuff, anything you want is connected. Why? Because those are things that we create. They're part of everything. They're part of what we call matter. So they don't teach this. I know that. You won't learn this stuff. And you know what? I'll be fair to say that some of this stuff is within the last 15 to 20 years. So it's probably new information and still getting time to filter it in to the mainstream people. Because 50 years ago, we wouldn't even know these things. Never caught a live with you before, Mark. Hey, congratulations. You're on the live. Remember when we finally got a long curly cord to walk around the house to talk with the phone? Exactly. And that was only like, 10, 15 years ago? So can you imagine a civilization that's, let's just go 100 years. Let's go 200 years. We can imagine that. But can you imagine something that's 1,000,000 years ahead of you? I could put it in perspective. It would be like 1,000,000 years technology would put us akin to ants. So we would be the ants, and a human being would be that person walking around looking at us as ants. That would be analogous to 1,000,000 years of technology. That's the closest I could make you see. So imagine 1,000,000 years of a being. No wonder they call them gods or angels. Right? Now you see why we call things gods and angels? Because if something's 1,000,000 years ahead of you, that means they have the ability to dimensionally shift. They could go through all 11 dimensions that we have. So when they pop in and out, it looks like miracles. You look like, oh, that's God doing a miracle. You know, they have those abilities. They have the ability to heal your body because they interjected with your DNA. They probably even experimented and made you. So it would be like them walking around and we're the ants. They're looking at us. They don't even study us because, you know, why would they need to study us? They created you. Just think about you as a person. Think about if you created something. Let's use your pet. Many of you have pets, cats and dogs, right? How highly intelligent you are. Imagine your pet. It's like you're your pet. So you're like a million years evolved. Your pet can't analyze and judge. Your pet is like, see? You create inventions for your pet. You make a doggy bed, a doggy house. Your pet just... So it's kind of like that with those beings. And look, and if you think what I'm talking is wild stuff, it's like crazy, out of the world, science is now proving that. We're on a groundbreaking time in history, guys. That the things that they were hiding or covering up, whatever you want to call it, from you, are coming out now. You know that? So, you know what's crazy? For people to be arrogant to think we are alone in this vast multiverse. That's what's crazy. By the sheer mathematical calculations alone, we can calculate that there is millions, billions of inhabited planets. Planets that has the conditions to support life. Now within those planets, just like how life began here, it's beyond a high probability that it not only exists, but it's probably thriving. Some of them probably exist and blew themselves up already. We are definitely living in exciting times. You know, if you think about it, guys, I said about 100 years ago, we didn't know that we had a solar system. We didn't know that there was other planets. We thought this was the center of the universe. 100 years ago, 200 years ago, they were in textbooks, Newtonian physics. No one knew that. Now look where we're at. So you gotta deepen your mind. And also, we've came a long way with understanding the mind. Within the last 60 to 70 years now, we know that we understand our own mind. We know that there's a subconscious, there's a conscious, there's another middle part of the mind called a critical divide. You know, there's a superconscious. What else now we're discovering? Well, we're discovering that we might live in like a simulation. It's like the Matrix type of situation. Now we're discovering that we are in fact like programs. We have downloads with our subconscious. Right? Yeah, the Egyptians knew about the solar system, but it was still considered fiction. Speaking about now, when we get into modern era, like in the 16th to 17th century, they were teaching like, you know, that the universe, the Earth's the center. So yeah, we could go back. That's an interesting point about the Egyptians. How about the Dogons? Anybody know about the Dogon tribes? The Dogons are a group of indigenous tribes in West Africa that they had the highest knowledge of mathematics and cosmology, even more than the Egyptians, even more than any modern day thing. The Dogons, they knew the exact trajectory of all the planets and their alignment. They knew where the Earth, the distance. They knew Neptune, Mars. They had drawings of all the planets. Thousands of years ago, guys. Thousands of years ago, they were in satellites. How would they know this information? So the Dogons, in their teachings, they said that they call them gods or extraterrestrials. They came down and taught the Dogons. They showed the Dogons how mathematics works, how cosmology works, who they are. It showed them the distances of the planets. Thousands of years ago. This isn't even in mainstream stuff. I mean, this should be shocking. You got to go look this stuff up. You shouldn't have to look this stuff up. The Dogons. See that? You see how things are kind of tucked away? And I mean, if someone put this out today, this would be breaking news, right? Like, how could this group of people knew so much? They knew, and today they verify that because guess what? Now that we have the satellites and we can go into orbit and we see all the planets, they look like, how the hell can these people know the exact longitude of these planetary systems? They knew there were other planets and they can't even fly. They were in Of course, you never heard of it. I've never heard of it. Yeah, you never heard of the Dogons. You're not gonna. Of course, you're not gonna hear the Dogons. You're not gonna. Why would you? Of course, I'm not surprised. The Dogons were in Kemet as well. Yep. The Dogons. This is a amethyst bracelet. So there's a lot of stuff out there that hasn't been brought to light. Mark, what sources do you get information that is not Google? Well, most of the sources is from other a lot of stuff you could find through other teachers like physicists, biologists, that you can look up, or books. They have different books you can find, and some of this stuff. I mean, a lot of the stuff too was passed on by a lot of you guys, deep thinkers. That they send me information, they send me books that were unpublished, that were banned. So I get a lot of stuff. I filter through them from a lot of you awakened chosen ones. YouTube, yes, YouTube has a lot of stuff you can find, videos. You got to search. It's not going to be on your news feed. It's not going to be in your algorithm. But it's out there. Even on Google, you can find this, because Google don't care. Google knows that, hey, it's not a lot of people going to search this up. So who cares? The information's out there. They're like, okay, shoot, who cares? It's not like millions of people are going to go looking on the Dogons and find out, oh, we're like extraterrestrials, or we got visited by. Who cares? These people are more concentrate about how they're going to make money, or da. And that's what the Matrix wants you to focus on. They want you to focus on that. Like how I'm going to put food on my table, how I'm this, that, how I'm going to look on my Instagram, how many followers I'm going to get, what am I going to wear, like who's my celebrity crush, who I got to follow, I got to watch The Bachelorette, I got to go See, that's what they all want you to do. So they know that. And so most people do it. What's the latest music I gotta listen to? I gotta do all that. See, even your music you listen to is casting spells on you. The music, well, if you want to ask me, I'll tell you the most powerful, subtle hit they use to subconsciously get you is your music. Sound creates life. Matter of fact, did you know light is created from sound? Sound is light. When the universe began, it began as sound waves. Did you know that? So sound is tremendously powerful. And the music they play, they have certain frequencies. These certain frequencies can what you call hemispherically bond with the rhythmic tone of your brain. Your brain is constantly oscillating, guys. That's why we call them theta, delta, beta, gamma. They go through these different waves. Based on these waves your brain pattern oscillates through, you feel a certain way. Repeat that. Based on a frequency that they broadcast, it makes you feel some type of way. Most of the music you listen to will make you feel some type of way. That's just the music. Want me to get deeper now? Let's talk about the lyrics, the spells. The music you listen to the lyrics. What do most music lyrics have in common? They're always something to portray jealousy, envy, pride, hate better than you, lack, struggle, gotta get this, gotta get that, make you feel low, put you in a state of aggression. That's the Matrix #1 mission target, your music. I don't even listen to music. Well, music I listen to is probably like old music, like more like relaxed music. I don't listen to no modern day music, none of that stuff. Why would I do that? Why would I want to get my mind messed up again? Most people don't do that. Young people, kids, preteens, they are listening to these music and they don't even know that they're being programmed. No wonder these people go out and act the stuff they do in the music. No wonder there's so much depression, so much anxiety, so much stress, because your brain is picking these frequencies up, and when it oscillates, it affects your vibration. Your vibration affects your mood. People get enraged, and so you have to be careful of the music and the words they play in the music. It's a fact. Different frequencies affect different hemispherical parts of the brain. Research and studies have proven this tons of times. You probably know this already, Because you listen to certain music, some music make you feel hype, some music make you feel low. And what is the music they put? A lot of heartbreak music. Lost my love. I can't find love. People get addicted to that type of music. You know that, right? People like to listen to sad music. Think about that. There's people who love listening to sad music. They love to make them feel sad. The brain gets addicted to that stuff. Yeah. I don't watch TV either, man. The media and the music is the #1 target. There is a war going on for your mind right as we speak. There's an informational war going on. It's for your control of your mind. The war is for you to portray reality a certain way that they want to paint the narrative for you. Everything is geared. Everything you watch right now is geared for you to perceive reality a certain way. Why do they do that? Because people say, Mark, who are they? They are the media. They are the educational system. They are scientists. They are psychologists. They are epidemiologists who knows how this stuff works. They are the big corporations that have all the money. Why would they want you to see reality a certain way? Because they know how quantum physics work, and they know that human beings, what we perceive in our minds become our reality. That's the only reason they want you to see reality, because if they could see reality a certain way, that's why they do filters. That's why they filter information. That's why they allow certain information to come in. That's why they block certain people and block certain things, because they want a narrative for you to consume information that'll make you form what's called a map of reality. And that map of reality now gets stored into your subconscious, and then you live it like that. How do you fix it? Avoid the content. Avoid what they're broadcasting. It's very simple. Just cut it off. Focus on things that move you towards your desires. Watch programs. Listen to music that will build you up and help you to reach your goal. What are your thoughts on the prophecies? What prophecies are we talking about specifically? Someone says, who's this? Lady Butterfly says something great here. People can't think for themselves because of all the distractions. You know, Lady Butterfly, you just said something very profound. Question becomes, okay, Mark, why can't people think? Because you were designed that way. They programmed you that way. That's another fault of this stuff, guys. The way the education system is working right now for kids, man, they're not teaching people how to think, man. They're telling you what to think. So that's going to make you now become less confident in yourself. You become what I call a bot. B-O-T, or you hear me use the word NPC in video games, non-player character. That's all they're creating right now with this matrix. They want people to do instead of think. They want you to get away from critically thinking about what's happening and just do stuff by what you see. It's no coincidence. But you know, you can reverse all of that by simply plugging out. Yeah, you can plug out from this stuff, guys. You can deprogram yourself too when you find this out. But so most people are just in it, man. Most people are in it, man. Most people are the NPCs, non-player characters. They're bots. Sorry, it's the truth. All of this stuff, we're moving away from our true selves. Like thousands of years ago, we were connected to who we were spiritually. Now we're moving away from all of that. You know, the good news is there's hope, because now we're entered the age of Aquarius, where we're moving towards that again, and that's good. The universe. To think about the universe, I love. It must always self-correct itself. There's always going to be a self-correction. There are going to be ebbs and flows. There are going to be different evolution of the universe, but it must always make sense, or what you call make sense. But it must always self-correct, like a self-correcting code. So the harder they try, the more people will wake up. Think about what happened within the last 3 years. How many people woken up? How many people now are seeing like, okay, what's happening? Like if you parents, if you have kids and all that stuff, this is stuff you gotta be careful of. Like, what are your kids watching, man? What are they, what do their minds feel? Because they're really programming them to become bots, non-player characters. Your kids will literally, like you got lucky. You grew up in a point in time where the mind control wasn't as bad, but now it's going to be tough because now your kids can grow up and they can't even think for themselves. They're just going to listen to whatever the Matrix says and they're going to do it. Hey, you do this, okay? Do that, okay? Don't think. This is for your best. We know what we're doing. We're the authority figures. We have experience. We know this stuff. Trust us. Okay. You lose the ability to critically think. Now look, I'm not saying anything is wrong. I'm sure, Matrix, part of the Matrix, they may be what you call what's the tone I want to use it. They may have what you call good intentions for them, but point is, guys, don't take anything anybody say to you without thinking for yourself. That's all I'm saying to you. Don't listen and take it face value when they tell you, hey, you got to do this. Hey, you got to do this. Hey, you got to do that. Don't do that. Okay? That's all I'm showing you. You think first before you act. Critically think. When they tell you something, don't jump at it. Because it's really important for you to develop your mind. Because the thing about the mind, guys, if you don't use it, you don't necessarily lose it. It just goes dormant. It's not active anymore. And you don't want to be in a dormant state in your life. You want to be a very high, intuitive, connective person with the universe. Because that's how you're going to get your power to create. You do not want to be a dormant victim. I notice when I think and speak my mind, people usually get mad at you. Because that's what I'm teaching you. Thinking and speaking your mind is not suggested anymore. That's the issue we face, man. People don't speak their truth, man. Another part of the Matrix thing. You care too much. People care too much. People care too much what people think about them. People care too much about what they say. I used to be that. I don't care anymore. I'm going to say what I'm going to say because it's my truth. And that's it. Because I know, like, okay, fine. You don't like it? Okay, that's good. But I'm not going to sit there and try to please somebody to make them feel good or to watch my words. Oh my God, I want to offend. Oh God, who cares, man? If I'm feeling a certain way, I'm going to say what I feel. Tell you what, may not like me, but they sure as hell will respect that. Because they know that next time they see me, they're like, okay, that guy right there, he's going to say what's on his mind, man. So I'm going to let you know straight up right now. So, and he don't care. If you like it, you don't, because he's not going to sit there. That's when you become your true power. Please tell us how to stop living in trauma. There's a video on that in the last YouTube. I did the live. Watch that one. It explains how to get out of trauma. Emotional trauma, man. You gotta get that. Meditation. We have to meditate as well. Okay, let me talk about meditation quickly. Because I think I talk about this. Guys, let me show you what meditation is. Anybody can do this. You can do this right now. There's so much different types of meditation. This is the only meditation you need to use to get to that level. It's called silence. It's basically chilling, listening to your breathing. Okay? Feel your diaphragm go in and out. You could even watch your tummy go in and out. You can go like this. If you got hairs on your arm, you can just watch the hairs on your arm. The meditation is just distracting your mind with your bodily. That's meditation. You cut out thinking. You're focusing on the body. You can do that for 5 minutes. You will get so much downloads. What are downloads? Information from superconscious mind into your consciousness so that you can take the right steps and the inspired action to achieve your goals. Now your downloads will come accordingly to what you've been thinking in your head that you want to create. Everybody should meditate like that. That's the easiest meditation. It takes 5 minutes. You can do it 3-4 times a day. You're going to notice a huge difference. It's so powerful. It's going to recharge the cells in your body. It's going to start to tame your ego. because now you're training your mind to be quiet. You're going to recharge yourself. You're going to be connected. You're going to be free of dis-ease. Your cells won't be inflamed, be less inflammation, because it's going to be less cortisol you're producing. You know, we all are energy gatherers. We take energy in from all of our surroundings because we're all connected. You know, just like food, you need food, but your body also has energy. And it's invisible to you and I because you can't see with your naked eye, but it sucks you up. It's probably doing things to you right now that you didn't know. If you're someone who's suffering from a lot of headaches, if you're someone who's suffering from insomnia, if you're someone who's suffering from mood swings, if you're someone who's suffering from like up and down, it's probably because you have a lot of negative energy that you soaked up and you didn't even know it. You have to detox yourself. What are some ways to detox yourself from negative energy? Grounding. Take your shoes off. Go outside and stand on your bare feet on the floor. Guys, let me show you something. That's how we were evolved. That's why when you human beings, you were walking barefoot because you were made with the environment. We made shoes so that we could just protect and make it good. But your feet is one of the most powerful places. Did you know your foot can tell a lot about what ailments you have? Did you know that? If you examine the bottom of your feet, I could tell you exactly what you got going on in your life. Did you know that? Your feet, man. Yeah, the bottom of your foot. You know, every day we walk in these shoes, and when we wear these shoes, we have these pads. The chemicals in these pads, your feet sucks it up, man. Everybody should once a day take their shoes off, go outside, even if it's on the concrete or find grass, stand in the grass. 2 minutes. You're going to notice how energized, how much free you're going to become. Who can do that? That'll probably take 5 years to your life in health. Everybody should do that. They don't teach you that. They don't teach you that. That's because the earth has a charge. And your foot has charge. Everything has charges. When you stand barefoot out, you're connecting the charges. And you're detoxing because you're with the soil, which is organic molecules that are going to flow and recharge the cells in your body. Did you know that? I just gave you a big tip. And you can go try this, and for 1 week, you're going to come back to me and be like, man, bro, I've had the best sleep of my life. I haven't had mood swings just by simply taking off your shoes and go standing in the grass. Or if you want to get better, don't wear socks. Get shoes, and you can get like organic pads that don't have a lot of chemicals in there, and just wear them in your shoes. Don't wear any socks. Just wear shoes with the pads, and you'll notice how much energy you're going to have. Because your feet soak up a lot of toxins. Did you know that? Yeah, man. What happens when you put your feet against someone else's? You exchange information. You can pick up their energy. Just like when you sleep with someone else, you're going to pick up their energy. You got to be careful who you share your body with. Can't just be anybody, because you're definitely going to pick up their blueprint. You're going to have some of their DNA in you. And what's part of the DNA? You're going to have some of their traits, their bad luck, or all that stuff. You're going to have it. Some people don't know that. Got to be careful who you share your soul with, man. I love being outside, however, it's rainy and cold. Yeah, if it's rainy and cold, just put on a little raincoat, go out there 5 minutes, stand in there. Now, I'm not saying don't do this in the snow now, come on. I mean, you got to find a grounded earth, like a grass, the dirt, the soil, or even in your house, if you got like wood floors, even the regular floors in your house is good, because it's still charged. These are the simplest things. Remember I told you guys, I said this stuff is very simple. You know, you got to think about how we evolve. When you first came here, you were walking on the ground. So that means your body was naturally made to connect with the ground. You didn't have shoes then. We invented shoes. How about when you're eating? When you were eating, you ate with your hands. Did you know this? And I said this in a few videos ago. Your hands has actually bacteria. Now, I'm going to show you something. I put my hands to my mouth right now. I could feel the saliva and all the glands getting ready to digest the food. Why? Because the bacteria in my hands are communicating telepathically. You call it telepathy, but they're sending chemical signals inside, getting my food to digest. Did you know that? It's better to eat with your hands, man. It's going to make your food digest a lot better. You're going to have less gut issues. Why? Human beings, that's how you evolved. The microbes and bacteria in your hands, they communicate. When you take a fork, you block the communication signal. People don't know that stuff. They think you're crazy, but there's now science is showing that. There's now research, studies done to show that when I eat with my hands, of course your hands gonna be clean. And I'm doing it right now, and I feel it. You can try it yourself. As soon as I take my food with my hands, the billions of millions of bacteria on my hands communicate with the bacteria in my mouth, pre-digesting everything ready. So as soon as the food goes in, better digestion, less indigestion, more health. Huh. Did you know that? I bet some of you the first time hearing this stuff. But they're not going to put that on television or on the internet. Forks and spoons are $1 billion industry. You think they want people to eat with their hands? No way. There's a lot of stuff that, you got to learn to tweak to see how things work. But 2 powerful things you can do. Stand barefoot, 5 minutes. Meditate, 5 minutes. Eat with your hands. Not all the time, of course. Make sure you're sanitized. You don't want, but if you're going to eat like chicken or something, you can use your hands, even a salad. I eat with my hands right now still. And if you look at cultures, you look at ancient cultures and civilizations, that's what they've been doing. They eat with their hands. Even some cultures today still do it. In Asia, they eat with their hands. And why do you think that? Because it's connected. Remember, guys, everything is connected. Of course, no dirty hands, guys. No dirty hands. That's the disclaimer. It just won't work if your hands are dirty. Constantly wash your hands. Yes, you got to do that. It is, but it will definitely help you. You'll notice you have. And a thing I also teach and I tell people a lot too is the gut. The gut is what actually manifests your world. It's not your brain. Manifestation comes from your gut because your gut produces the chemicals that go to your brain. Dopamine, serotonin, DMT. Majority of those neurochemicals are produced inside your gut. And your gut sends them to the brain. So your gut has microbes. They have good bacteria, they have bad bacteria. Gut health is important. You have to have the right probiotics to get your gut to help to communicate, to help you to manifest. You got to feed your gut the correct bacteria. Something that's good that you can do for your gut, very simple. Anybody can do this. Is the first thing when you get up in the morning, drink a glass or half a glass of lukewarm water. Before you do anything, you drink some lukewarm water. Because what happens the night before, your gut is fighting and it's going to create all these neurotoxins that your body's going to put out. As soon as you drink the water, it's going to cleanse those neurotoxins, which is going to promote healthy gut bacteria. Right in the morning when you get up. You do that for 5 days, you're going to notice you're going to have more energy, feel more alive. Look at all that stuff. You're going to have less headaches. And you don't have to go to the doctor to do all that stuff and take pills and all that stuff. Take some probiotics. And you'll see your manifestation go up. Now I'll talk about some foods that you want to avoid to take out to manifest. Really, and this may hurt people. Caffeine. Sorry guys, if you're a caffeine, you need to cut it out. It's not good for you. It wreaks havoc on your gut, and it wreaks havoc on your vibration. You gotta cut caffeine out or limit severely. It's one of the things that will wreak havoc on your gut. It's gonna create a lot of nervous manifestation in your life. I did that because I witnessed that myself. I used to love caffeine. I used to love drinking sweet tea and coffee. I cut that out 3 years ago. And the reason I did that was because I noticed whenever I drink caffeine, I would get like anxious and nervous. And then guess what would happen? My reality and experiences would make me feel anxious and nervous. In other words, I get stuff in my life to produce that. And I was like, what the hell's going on here? And that's when I realized my gut was the manifestation, because it sends these signals out and vibrate out. So when I cut caffeine out, it changed, man. I started manifesting like normal stuff. Like, oh my God. That was the most eye-opening thing I learned. I used to think it was my brain, but now I realize manifestations from my gut. I even put sea moss in my coffee. You're going to neutralize it because of caffeine. If you're going to cut caffeine, cut it. It's better health for you. Trust me. Yeah, you'll go through the little withdrawal for 2 weeks, but it's worth it for manifest. It's worth it for your health, man. Not even decaf. Decaf has some caffeine in it. If you can go decaf for a little, but you got to wean it off completely, man. Completely. You'll sleep better. You won't have insomnia. I'll leave another tip before I gotta go in a few minutes. If you're gonna drink anything, guys, like things, make sure it's room temperature. Like water. For water, stay away from drinking cold stuff a lot. It wreaks havoc on your gut. That cold kills a lot of the bacteria. See, all my bottles of water, they're always lukewarm. I have a refrigerator and there's nothing in it. Nothing cold. Everything is, but predominantly I drink water. I don't drink juices, a lot of juices. So think about how you evolve. When your body was being made and evolved, your body was being designed around the environment it was with at the time. And our environment back then, we didn't have refrigerators. So everything was lukewarm. We didn't have like shoes and all that. So your body developed a codependence on the earth to keep the systems function and make you overall healthy. Because we got industrialized and we got technology, we moved away from that. But just because we moved away from that, your body did not. Think, just because we got technology, your body still is stuck with barefoot. Lukewarm stuff is better for me. Gut bacteria is good. See that? Yeah. So just because we got fancy shoes and all that stuff, I'm not telling you to go walk barefoot on the ground. No, sure you're gonna wear shoes now because there's so much stuff out there. You can't. But I'm showing you is you can take 5 minutes and reconnect back. That's what I'm showing you. If the food you eat, you got to start eating no less. Your last meal should be 4 to 5 hours before you go to bed. 100%. 4 to 5 hours. That should be your last meal. Why is that? Well, if you're eating before that, most of the energy your brain is going to be consumed with is digesting your food. It's wasted, man. You won't have the energy to create. It wreaks havoc on your gut. Even the pyramid of food they put out for you, that's all incorrect. You don't have to have breakfast at this time or that. You eat when your body feels like eating. Well, how do I know this? Again, I'm a testimony to this. I was the guy that used to have 3 meals a day. Remember, guys, I was a chef. I still am a chef by trade, but I was a chef, so I knew about foods and all that stuff, food pyramid and all that, da-da-da. So there was a time when I used to eat like 3 times a day. I was following all that stuff. And I was like, man, I feel lethargic. Then I just started listening to my body. Now, I eat twice a day. And when I get up in the morning and my body feels I eat, and then before maybe 4 o'clock I eat, that's it. And my entire body changed. My life changed. I was able to have more knowledge, insight, because my body spent less time digesting the food and more time connecting and helping me with the universe. It's more health. You know, your cells, they don't die that often. You know, aging and all that stuff is really caused by the foods, because we digest, they create free radicals. The cells, they do so much work, they create apoptosis, they die off. You know, less is more. It means the less I can eat, and I'm contented, the more my cells will thrive, because it puts the body into what you call survival mode, which produces these chemicals that what they eliminate inflammation. Inflammation is the cause of all disease. So what is inflammation, Mark? Inflammation is basically the cell being damaged. When the cells gets damaged, it creates a lot of mucus. So that's inflammation. So how you stop inflammation, you'll stop a lot of disease. There's really steps that you can take right now to do that. And more important, with these steps, it's going to really help you to manifest more. You're going to be more in a fasting. That's it. My last meal is like 4 o'clock. No, after 4 o'clock I don't eat, and then so I every day I'm like a 14 to 24 hour fast. Let's see, 4. Now let's see. Now, 4 o'clock. After 4 o'clock, I don't do anything. Let's see. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Around 18 hours every day. That's my lifestyle. I'm 18 hours. And my body got used to it. I used to think like, oh man, I'm going to feel like, I'm going to get the grumble, like, your stomach gets grumbly. At first it did. But the amazing thing about your body is it adjusts. And when my body adjusts, I don't get the cravings. It's like normal for me now. You keep a healthy weight. You can be more healthy because the cells, all these little stuff that anybody can do right now. That'll make a whole change in your life. You'll become a lot more happier because you don't have a lot of toxins. You don't have a lot of resistance. Your mind is more free. You're able to get downloads more, right? All this stuff. It's really simple stuff that I think we should teach people or put in schools that will help people. It'll keep a lot of people out from going to the doctors. It'll help a lot of people. But I'm not going to get into the medicine talk or all that stuff because, that you know how that works. Treatment is better than the cure. That's what they say. But there's simple stuff that you can take that will help your life. And all of this, the reason I do all of this, guys, I do it because, it's going to make me healthy. But the number one reason I do this is because I'm going to be more enlightened with my mind. My mind is going to be open more because now my mind has more energy to focus on what I want in the universe. See, my mind now, my energy from my mind isn't geared with like fixing food and digesting. I have so much more energy to put out to the universe that I'm able to get these high downloads. So many people wonder, like, Mark, how you get the knowledge? That's how I get the knowledge, because I have ample energy now to digest more from that superconscious, so I can instill things and I can learn stuff and I can teach stuff. That's how I do it. That's my lifestyle. That's a lifestyle. If you're going to do this, it has to be a lifestyle. All right, guys. So that's the time I have for today. I'll get back again maybe next Saturday. Hopefully this will save and I could put it up for you to watch again on the YouTube things. Thank you.